Welcome to training in 3. Being able to create lines using a relative to a coordinate system. So we're going to be looking at creating a line today using the absolute entry method, the relative entry method and the polar entry method. Kicking off with our absolute entry method, I'm going to type in line and enter. I'm going to specify, as it asks me, my first point, 0, 0. That's me indicating my x, comma, then my y coordinate. So on graph paper, your x and your y will cross at 0, 0, won't it? So that's all you're doing here. So if I press enter, as you can see where my x and y start, so if you imagine the screen being like graph paper, x and y, there's my lines. So I've done 0, 0, and now I want to do my second point. So if I want my second point to be 3000 across on the x-axis, I type in 3000, comma, and now I type in my y-axis, which is going to be 4000 up the way. So 3000, 4000, enter. And as you can see, it's drawn me a line, 3000 across, 4000 up. Okay, you can sort out checks later, but to finish this off, I press enter or escape or anything like that. There you go. Okay, so that was the absolute entry method, where you assume the origin is 0, 0, and you take coordinates from that. Now we're going to go relative entry method. So if I type in line, enter, I type in my first point 0, 0. Okay, so what the relative entry method does is it assumes whatever your first point is, it assumes that is 0, 0 along the x and y. Now I've got it along my origin, but say you had your first point halfway up the screen. What you could do is, from that point, you could then specify how far along the x or y from that point using this relative entry method, which you need to put the at sign in to be able to do. So as soon as you put the at sign in front, it takes that first point basically as 0, 0, and then you can then put in your 3000, 4000, and it'll draw you a line 3000 across, 4000 up from that first point. That's using relative because it's relative to that first point. Okay, and then again close out by pressing enter, anything you like. Finally, polar entry method. So if I type in line 0, 0 for my x and y first point. Okay, now what we're doing with polar is we're specifying a distance and an angle. So if I wanted my line to be 5000 millimeters long, but I want it to be at the angle of 45 degrees, I'd need to put in this symbol here, if you can see it on the screen, just before the 61 there. Do you see that? It's the less than sign in maths, but it indicates that you want to put an angle in. Okay, so I want to put in 45, so I type in 45. So I want my line to be 5000 millimeters at a 45 degree angle. So that's what I'm going to put. Enter. There we go. There is my line. Press enter again to close out. And that is training in 3. Thank you.